What's going on, everybody? After a long hiatus, me and Jim are back at it. The off season's over, buddy. How are you feeling?
I am ready. I think we got 5 Saturdays or 4 Saturdays until
Not
Tennessee
long.
football
Not
takes the
long.
field. They take the field somewhere. It's not in Neyland, but they take the field down in Georgia, which is weird.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, you can't be more excited. I mean, we're finally going to get to that stage where it's football, playoff baseball. You know how it is. It's all the sports are back, and
Yeah.
it's exciting. Tennessee's gonna. I mean, everyone's doubting us, and I actually like this side. Like last year, we were like, "Oh, we're winning this, we're doing that. We got Nico, blah blah blah." I like being doubted actually, because you know what? We had no expectations for this year. We had zero expectations.
I
So
mean, yeah. Outside of the fan base, especially with the media, and we'll talk about it here in a few minutes coming out of SEC media days. I mean, the expectation is like of an 8-4 football team. So, but first off, I just want to hit on how the baseball season ended. Obviously, we didn't want to talk about that, Jim, or we would have. I don't think there was much point to talk about it. Tennessee just got beat, but
mhm.
we still had success in the draft. I mean, we were still a very talented team. It was fun. I think you had 9 draft picks, and most of them in the top in the first 3 to 4 rounds. I think Cannon
Mhm.
was the only late round guy, and you kept a lot of the. I mean, a lot of the signees did get drafted. Some of them are still up in the air. You had 2 go in the top 10 in Steele Hall and Billy Carlson. Schoolcraft also went in the first round. But, when you're getting that many signees drafted, I think it's a good sign that the program's doing good too. So,
Yeah, I mean, Tony lucked out. I mean, he's getting top 50 talent coming out of high school. I think he's getting what, two or three guys that are top 50 guys. Plus, you're getting Henry Ford. I mean, this lineup is going to be absolutely filthy next year. I'd be terrified to pitch against this next year. Um, I honestly don't know what Tony's going to do. I don't know what the coaching staff's going to do. Arvidsson's coming back, which is
yep.
gigantic for this rotation next year. Because I think you have Arvidsson go on Sunday,
Yeah.
And you got the guy from Rutgers, Mac, and Tegan Kuhn's looking fantastic in the little Cobb League, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tony did great. The coaching staff's doing phenomenal, and you can't be any more excited for next year's baseball team because Revenge Tour is coming.
Yeah. Revenge Tour 2026 is on the way. Um, and, Tony said as much. It was very obvious that they were not happy with the way everything ended, and the standard was not there to win a championship. But we'll talk about that when the time comes. But like we started with, I'm ready to talk about football.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like coming out of media days, Tennessee's picked ninth as far as where they'll finish in the conference. So right there, middle of the road. Some teams ahead of us. I just want to. I think the first top 3 are kind of expected. Top 4 really, but really from like 5 to 11. I think all of those teams are interchangeable to me. I'm not buying into the South Carolina and Florida hype as much as the nerd journalists are, but what are your thoughts on how that top 16 projection broke down?
I'm in the same boat. The top 4 are interchangeable. I think those are going to be the teams up there. But I think it's hilarious people are doubting Tennessee. I understand you lost Nico Iamaleava. I understand, makes sense. You're going to be doubted, especially you don't know what you're going to get from Joey Aguilar. But Joey Aguilar has proven that he could throw the ball. He's accurate, and he's not going to be running for his life like he was at Appalachian State. So I mean, to be honest, when it comes to Tennessee's ranking, ninth is what I expected the nerds to do, just because is the quarterback situation. Because if Nico was here, Tennessee would be in that top 5 team category. Am I correct?
I don't think you're wrong. No, I think most of the most of how people are looking at Tennessee right now going into 2025 is number one, Nico departing, and number two, how the season ended in Columbus. That's the only two reasons we're picked ninth in the conference. I think if we had not gotten blown out, I mean, look, Ole Miss didn't make the playoffs and they're ranked ahead of us. Like, I think South Carolina was right knocking on the door too. I think if we wouldn't have made the playoffs, people would be ranking us higher. It's just that the optics of getting blown out in your playoff game is bad, and then of course Nico. But I think, and I've said this, right after the Nico thing happened. I guess what, God, it's been 3 months, 4 months since that happened. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But like I said it right after it happened, the roster to me is still good enough to where you can bring in a guy like Joey, or even if one of the two young guys start. I mean, Heupel did say this is going to be a battle, but we can talk about that in a second. Like, I think the team's good enough to do at least what they did last year, if not better.
Yeah, I mean the defense all around. Yeah, you're losing James Pierce, but again, Joshua Josephs was actually statistically right next to James Pierce last year.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
And then you got Jordan Ross, young kid, that 5-star talent.
Caleb
Herring, Davian Hobbs. You can name them all. I mean, Bryson Eason. The defense is going to be the defense from last year, if not better, because if Jamal McCoy is gets 100% healthy with Ricky Gibson, Colton Hood, and Boo Carter, I mean, and from what I'm hearing and seeing, I mean, Farouk and Caleb Beasley, I mean, you got plenty of options to play that other safety spot too. And then you got Jalen McMurray coming off to help. They're stacked in the secondary. The linebackers are a lot, more mature than they were last year. Arian Carter is probably going to have a great, phenomenal year. So, I mean, T-Lander as well. And you got all the young guys. You got Edwin Spillman coming. He was hurt last year. So this linebacker room is going to be great. The defense is going to be great. It's that big question mark is why they put Tennessee at 9. And I'm not mad about it because I understand. But if Joey could have the same year as Nico, Tennessee's sky is the limit. Because I know you lose Dylan Sampson, but Peyton Lewis showed that he belongs last year. Every time he got a chance, he showed what he could do. And I think with him and Deshaun Bishop, a healthy Deshaun Bishop, and Star Thomas, this team's gonna be good. I think the wide receivers are way better than last year. So it's kind of scary to think about, though. Is the quarterback position is obviously the most important on the team. But Joey Aguilar has that veteran experience, not in the big boy conferences, but he's played. He's been in the trenches running for his life. So I think if he could get this tempo going, I think this team's really good this year.
Yeah. As far as the quarterback goes, I think the easy thing to think of is, you obviously, I think a 5th-year senior, whatever Joey is, he might even be a 6th year. If he ends up starting, which like I would say that's 95% probability at this point. If he does, like, it's not very like just meeting what Nico did last year is not enough for me. Like Nico was like last year, Tennessee was a Big Ten team. Okay, we went 10-2 because of the running game and the defense, and Nico made just enough throws to sprinkle in there to get us over the top in some games. I want Joey to like at least get that, if not 1,000 yards more. I want him to be over 3,000 yards. I want him to throw for 30 touch. Like I want it to look like the 2022 offense. And that's what Tennessee fandom has been begging for in these it's almost been 3 years now. So.
Yeah, I want to bring it up. I posted it, I don't know, beginning of July 1st. And nothing special, didn't put anything crazy in ChatGPT, but we're going to talk about it. Okay. Because ChatGPT, I mean, statistically is pretty accurate. So,
all right.
They're really high on Peyton Lewis. I think Peyton Lewis, again, we talked about it last year. He got more snaps than Deshaun Bishop just because Deshaun Bishop got hurt. Deshaun Bishop is another fantastic runner, but I think that's why it's focused on Peyton Lewis. I think that's probably what threw that in there. But I mean, at the end of the season, they have us at 10-2. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to go back there and look, but it has us finally winning in the swamp. Again, you talked about how you doubt Florida. I agree. I'm on the same page. I don't think DJ Lagway is this heroic hero. That he's getting the hype that Nico got last year. Before last year happened.
That's a really good way to put it.
Yeah. But they got Mike Matthews having a great year, which we all expect. But Joey Aguilar, they have him throwing for 3,300 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. I'll take that all damn day.
Yeah. Sign me up, yeah.
Yeah, like that's Nico in the stratosphere numbers. Yeah. So, I mean, there's nothing on this team that I'm like, other than the quarterback, obviously, there's no spot on this team where I'm like, man, like I really went like tight ends. You got Miles Kitselman, you got Ethan Davis. The offensive line looks great. The only spot I'm worried about is probably a center, but they'll figure it out. Wide receivers going to be better. Young, Travis Smith Jr., you got, all those young guys in there. I can't really see anywhere on this team other than quarterback that's like last year. Last year, we kind of said, the wide receivers, are they going to be able to protect this guy? Is Dylan Sampson? We had all those questions. I don't have that this year, dude. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think last year going in, we thought the wide receivers, just because they were old, would be good. That didn't happen. But the lack of the passing game last year, I think, as much disdain as I have for Nico now, it wasn't all his fault. The wide receivers were out there on walkers for most of the time. Half of them were hurt, and they were still in the game for some reason. The offensive line didn't do what we wanted them to, passing protection wise. But I've seen people talk about the offensive line like it's a big question mark, and I don't really feel that way. Mm-hmm. I think they can at least be as effective as it was last year. We know they're going to run block well. And is David Sanders really going to be worse than a 24-year-old John Campbell or a fat Lance Hurd in the first half of the season? Like, go ahead.
Oh, no. Again, talk about the nerds from the SEC media days, bro. They were talking up. Hey, I love John Campbell. I love him. But they're talking about, they're going to miss John Campbell shoving people into the stadium. I'm like, bro, you're talking about Virginia. You're talking about the Virginia Cavaliers, right?
And the NC State game when him and Spraggins ran that dude out of bounds, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, calm down, dude. Like, you're getting rid of all these – Sam Pendleton, you got Wendell Moe, you got Hurd, who's lost 15 pounds. I mean, you got David Sanders. I mean,
Hurd needs to take a step this year for that line to be, I mean, surely to God, because he was like the PFF grades he was putting up in the first half of the season. I've never seen PFF grades lower. Like, it was ridiculous. So nowhere to go but up, hopefully. I know I've said that about the Titans tackle spots the last 4 years. But anyway, we won't talk about them. I think Sam Pendleton is going to end up being your center there.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I mean, if you come
what's your offensive line then?
I want Hurd.
Left side.
Left guard. Left to right, yes. Hurd, Moe, Pendleton. I would shift Satterwhite over to right guard. And then I would put Sanders on right tackle.
So,
because I think when you're coming from Notre Dame, they don't like you know it's a smart guy, and you need that guy at center to identify shit. And I want like a guy who's like has more experience than Satterwhite does there,
Yeah, no, I could see that. I agree with you. I think that could be a great offensive line. I do think it's gonna be Satterwhite at the center, and they put Pendleton at the right guard just to give that little bit of veteran next to both the young guys, because they'll have Moe next to Satterwhite, they'll have Pendleton next to Satterwhite, and then they'll have Pendleton next to Sanders. So that's just me. They've been speaking about Satterwhite being the center. He was the backup center last year. So that's the way I think it'll turn out. I don't disagree with you. I think that'd be a good offensive line as well, just having that veteran, type guy in the middle. So, yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I can't wait till fall camp starts because
Yeah.
I think we'll get a lot of answers from that.
Yeah, the thing to me about it is you need to find the 5 you want and find it early and get them reps for the rest of fall camp. Like you need to spend like maybe a week and a half finding who's going to start, and then rep them to death with hopefully your first team quarterback. Hopefully they figured that out soon too. I thought it was interesting and a perfect Heupel move to not bring a quarterback to media days, just because that would basically be crowning the starter if you brought Joey. You know, and we mentioned Carter and Kitzelman already. And I think it was Dominic Bailey who went down there with them. I think
Bryson Eason.
Bryson Eason, yeah. I get them two mixed up, but they're both veteran guys, and I think that was a perfect 3. But I think Carter's your leader on defense, and Kitzelman's your leader on offense. And Kitzelman talked about it media days how there was no leadership on the offense last year outside of Samson, really. Like, I know just watching the games from my seat in Neyland, you could see Samson talking up and leading the pregame huddles, like hyping them up and everything. But that's really to me, it's not a job for a running back. It's a job for a quarterback or a lineman. And apparently they weren't getting that from Nico. And Kitzelman said he's going to try to be that guy more this year. And I understand him not wanting to do that coming from Alabama in his first year with the team. So I think it'll be interesting to see how the leadership breaks down. And I think it will be Miles Kitzelman for the most part on offense.
And again, I think, and I said this, a couple months back last time we talked about football, but I think if Joey Aguilar gets a starting role, which again, we think he is, but I think if he gets the starting role, goes into Atlanta against Syracuse, has a decent game, I think Joey Aguilar takes that spot. I think this team has the ability to use the criticism it's getting as a motivation factor, and it sounds like they are because they brought it up, how everyone's doubting them.
Yeah.
And again, as a fan, I'd rather be in that spot. I'd rather be in that spot other than someone saying, oh, Tennessee should go to the playoff this year and then not make it. Or Tennessee, everyone's saying 8-4, 8-4, 8-4. What happens when Tennessee goes 9-3 or 10-2? You know what? I'd rather be that team. So
expectation just breeds pressure. And, we had all those expectations last year with Nico. We thought he was going to be the guy, and he was maybe half of what we wanted him to be. Maybe half. And we still got where we wanted to go, which I think is, just speaks to Josh Heupel's coaching ability, his willingness to win games by whatever means possible. I'm glad we did that. It was a good step. But it's going to be like anything good that happens, like the first time we beat somebody we shouldn't, and I'm talking about the big 3, either Georgia, Alabama, or Florida, and I think we're going to beat at least one of them. I'm pretty confident in that. It's going to be like euphoria. I mean, last year we were scraping by winning games, and people were pissed off, even though we won 10 games. I don't feel that way. Like, I'll take 10 wins however I can get it. I don't care if we win games 2-0. But it wasn't the most fun thing to watch, and I will willingly admit that. And I think that's a big deal with the offense. Let's just be fun again,
Yeah.
Like, and I think Joey can do that. I think any of the 3 can do that.
Yeah, and like you said, I think between the 3, I mean, you got Georgia at home this year, early in the year. You got them early in the year with the same kind of spot Nico was in last year, where Gunnar Stockton's going in, and
it'll be his first away game start.
Yeah, inside a very hopefully 2-0 hostile Neyland Stadium, because that game's going to be the game to be at that year or that week. Honestly, if both are 2-0, I would not be shocked. College game day being there.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, I think Joey Aguilar is the guy, dude. I'm not going to say he's going to put up Hendon Hooker numbers, because that's obviously, I wouldn't disrespect Hendon Hooker like that. But I think this team is has plenty of capabilities to be a 10, 11 win team. They could beat anybody. You got the defense to do it. Again, you know what's funny is last year, what did we say? We always said, oh, if Tennessee could score 28 points, no one's beating them.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was true. If Tennessee could have putting up 28 points, they could have probably won 11 games last year.
Yeah. I mean, we would have won 11 in the regular season if we did.
Yeah, I think the only team that had more than that was Georgia.
And it was 31. Like, it wasn't anything crazy.
Yeah.
Just talking about Joey, I think it was either Kitzelman. I'm pretty sure it was Kitzelman who said that Joey has came in however long he's been there on campus. I don't know exactly how long it's been, but he said that he's already like everybody's best friend, which like speaks to him as just like I mentioned earlier, a leader and just somebody people like. And that's what gets me about us being picked to finish 9th in the league. People are acting like Nico was the glue that was holding everything together when honestly, he probably was the shit pulling the team apart last year if there was any cracks in the team. Like, I don't know. And the all SEC teams were also a joke. Like,
one guy.
one first teamer, which is our boy Mod, which is expected. He's probably going to be a top 10 NFL pick. But what really got me, how these nerd journalists do, like, did you see the first team special teams unit?
No, I didn't.
Every position was a Georgia player. Place kicker, punter, kick returner, punt returner. It was all Georgia players. They clearly have no idea what they're talking about. Like, there's no way that that's true.
Yeah, maybe they were just talking about like most DUIs or something.
I don't know, but it was every single special teamer was first team special team guy was from Georgia, which I just don't buy. I mean, I think Jackson Ross is better than Georgia's punter. I'll go ahead and say that. But anyway, just getting off the nerd journalist, like we kind of talked about going into last year. After what happened with the corners at the end of 2023, like how a lot of them transferred, a lot of the secondary left. So you're basically left with Gibson. You had Carter coming in. You had Jermod. We ended up picking him up. And we said before last year, getting those old guys out means that this secondary is probably going to be better. And that's exactly how I feel about the offensive line and the receivers.
Yeah. Yeah, you saw him during the spring game.
Yeah.
The young receivers were getting open, and again, it's the ones versus twos and all that stuff. But Mike Matthews was underused last year. The kid should have played, and that's why he was flirting with the portal because he should have played last year. So Braylon Staley, I think, is going to be another household name. That kid is insanely fast, great hands. And then you got guys like Travis Smith Jr., you got Chris Brazzell coming back. I mean, Chris Brazzell, hopefully he turns into a Dante Thornton where it was the second year and, he just figures it out. But they have plenty of guys, and I'm not even naming, some of the guys that I want to. Travis Smith Jr. and what's his name? Dobson, right?
Yep.
So you got plenty of guys on that team. And Jackson's nasty too.
Darius Jackson,
yeah. But again, it's just Tennessee fans just need to take a deep breath because I think this team's going to be the same as last year, if not better, depending on the quarterback play. I think Tennessee alone will win games by defense, obviously, but I think the offense is going to be better. I mean, even though you're trying to replace Dylan Sampson, I mean, one of the three guys is going to be, if not all three, are going to have 500 yards plus.
Yeah, I don't think it's a stretch to say we'll rush for over 2,000 yards again. I mean, it was just last year was different because Sampson was clearly the best guy far and away. That's the first time we've had a running back that much separated from the second string under Heupel. I think it'll be a lot like 2022 and 2023 where you're rotating in 3 or 4 guys, just for they each get their own drive and, go out there and see what you can do. And the running game was good back then too. I mean, it was probably similar numbers. I mean, I'm not trying to say Samson was bad or we're not going to miss him, but I think the running game will be just fine. Um, I'm excited about Star Thomas. I'm excited about Bishop and Lewis and even the true freshman coming in from the mid-state, Dwayne Morris. I think he might get some snaps. But I like the offense. You said it. If it's not better, you really have to start asking questions about Heupel at this point. Like because I think everybody was willing to blame the struggles on Nico, and the offense being predictable would just they're going to give it to Samson, and Samson was good enough to overcome that and get his yards. But I really do think you have to ask questions if the offense is not better this year.
Yeah, I think at that point, let Joey Halsley be the quarterback coach and get an offensive coordinator. I mean,
Yeah.
someone that is with your offensive system, because Heupel's not going to get rid of his offensive system. It's just you can't at this point after the 2 years Halsley was offensive coordinator. I mean, you can't not say that Golish wasn't different because it was just, and maybe the wide receivers, I don't know, because you know how a lot of the wide receivers have to make their choice plays where maybe it was wide receivers, but I think you're right. I think if it this year is like last year where it was mediocre, you're gonna have to start going, because Josh Heupel's a good recruiter. He's good, everywhere else. I mean, Tim Banks is doing his thing.
Yep.
And it's just, I feel like they should have let Golish walk, to be honest. They should have just kept him, man.
I think Golish gets a lot of credit for having Hendon Hooker. I mean, if you just look at what he's done at South Florida, it's nothing groundbreaking. But I mean, you can't deny that. I don't think just quarterback play accounts for how predictable and conservative the offense has been at times in the last 2 years, and maybe that's Heupel getting in their ear and saying, "I want to win with defense tonight." But we'll see. I'm just putting that out there because it'll be highly disappointing if for the third year in a row, the third different quarterback, the offense still doesn't get back to the pace we saw in 2022. And I think at that point, it's not the quarterbacks we've had; it's the coaching that they're receiving. But what about the defense now? Is there any spots on the defense that you think are just a big time hole? Because I really can't think of one.
No, I wouldn't say we're 11, 12 deep on the defensive line, but I still think you have 10 guys that go out there and really show out. Linebackers, I think they're a bunch of young guys that could do some good, but Edwin Spillman was going to play last year if he wasn't hurt. So I think between him, Carter, T-Lander, and the few young guys who are very talented linebackers are going to do great. And then again, the secondary is phenomenal. I mean, the addition of Colton Hood could have went anywhere else and been a starting corner.
Yeah.
Anywhere. He could have stayed at Colorado and been starting. So I think the addition of him, Boo Carter, is going to have a phenomenal year again. And if Jamar McCoy could stay healthy, this defense might be better than last year. I'm be honest. It's hard to say because we didn't sack the quarterback a lot last year.
No.
So I think this defense is going to be, if not the same, better.
Yeah. The secondary, I think, might be the best it's been in the 5 years under Heupel. After this year, the 5 years under Heupel, like you're bringing back Gibson, Dog, McCoy, Dog at the top two corner spots. You got Hood, you got McMurray, Jordan Thomas will be back, Boo will be back there, which I want to talk about that in a second too. Just the factor of Boo Carter, but that secondary is going to be nasty. You've already talked about the linebackers and the D line. I don't think there's going to be any drop off there. By the way, I think Coach Inge for the linebackers, he seems like an ace recruiter just based on what we've been doing these last few weeks on the recruiting trail. And I think he's a good coach. I mean, the linebackers were great last year when they weren't having to cover huge tight ends in coverage at Georgia, or Will Brooks, I guess.
And
I don't
a
want to.
good first year, for Hinge. I mean, you got to give him his flowers already, getting Rouse and getting
Yeah.
these 4-star guys. Again, that was our biggest thing with the old coaches. It was just like it didn't seem like the recruiting is going Tennessee's way because Tennessee is a top football program in the country, and Tennessee should be competing for top 5 recruiting slots. And I had to tell everybody being top 5 to me anymore in recruiting isn't the same as it used to be. I think if you're a top 10 recruiting team and getting what you need out of the portal type team, it's the same as being top 5 years ago when the transfer portal wasn't a thing.
Yeah,
so,
the top 5 now is just who has the most money for the most part. I mean,
yeah.
it's gonna be important moving forward, but I think when they're getting it directly from the school, which is coming soon, I think it'll even out a little bit there. But Boo Carter, I don't know if this is just me thinking about how Heupel's made personnel decisions in the past, but do you buy that he's going to play a ton of offensive snaps?
What are you saying? A ton of offensive snaps? What's a ton to you?
Like 10 to 15 a game.
I think he'll be on the offensive side of the ball. Like you saying 10 to 15 touches or 10 to 15 like
snaps, just snaps.
I think he'll get there. I think not at the beginning of the year, but like I do think he will get, I'd say to be conservative, I'd say 5 to 10 a game of him on, unless he does great.
Yeah. I think a lot of it depends on how the corners are doing. If they need him on defense, they don't want him being gassed in the fourth quarter with Georgia trying to drive down and win the game, or anybody trying to drive down and win the game. I think we're going to be deep enough at receiver to where if we have to have him on defense full time, I don't think it'll be an issue as far as like the benefit of the team. But I want to keep that kid happy because I love him and I think he's going to be a stud wherever he ends up in the NFL, and he's going to the NFL. He's going to get drafted
this year.
Well, he'll just be a sophomore next year, so I guess it'd be the year after. Yeah,
I don't know unless he does have a phenomenal year, because again, I'm big into the college football video game here.
Yeah,
and actually, no, I take that back because that'd be in the game. He got picked in the first round, but he was probably going to be a senior when he left.
Yeah, well, the college, you can't go pro until after you've been in college for 3 years. So, but I think the receivers will have enough production to where they won't want him on. Like, I don't think they'll have him in for a whole drive like they normally do the wide receivers. I think if they have him in there, it'll be for the start of a drive. And, I guess the way we run offense when it's going good, he'll be in there until we score a touchdown or get stopped. But I just don't buy that he's going to be the Swiss Army knife that people are hoping he's going to be. And I hope I'm wrong.
The Travis Hunter. That's what everyone was hoping, is that he's going to play every single snap and be the next Travis Hunter. And he has the talent to do something like that.
I agree.
He does. Because if you watch his high school film when he's on offense, that kid he's
a beast.
He's a freak of nature, man. Like fast, can move, route runner, But I think they're going to use him for sure. They're going to use him for sure. Plus, they promised to use him. So,
yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And, for the benefit of the team, I think you could get by without playing on both sides. But for the benefit of keeping him, you better play him on both sides of the ball to his liking. I think he's that type of player. He's worth making a few sacrifices to keep him on campus. But you got any more thoughts?
Oh, I was just gonna say, you know how fast Dion would be text him and say, "Hey, come to Colorado. I'll put you on. You'll play every snap."
Yeah, and that will happen if he doesn't get the snaps he wants. I believe that, just the way things are today. Any more thoughts on the team before we hang it up for tonight? I'm looking forward to talking about this team through fall camp. I think the biggest battle to me is going to be the center and of course the quarterback. Those are the two that I'll be watching closely. I think every other position is pretty much spoke for, except maybe who's going to get the most snaps at running back. So
Yeah, and like we just talked about, Boo Carter is what happens with that, because I think they're deep enough now with the addition of Colton Hood to where Boo Carter doesn't have to get off the field and he can get a break with Colton Hood being in there.
Hopefully Hood's good enough to where Carter's only in there on like 6 defensive back sets or something, and he's getting enough of the defense he wants, and he's mainly on offense. I think that's the way he wants it to go. I don't know if that's the way the coaches want it to go, but we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting to keep up with, and I'm sure we'll hear about it going through fall camp, just exactly how many reps he's getting on the offensive side of the ball. So
there's a reason why Colorado fans were so upset when he left, because he's starter potential and he's going to be on the field a lot. I truly believe that. And he's going to be coming in for Boo. And I think that may make a huge difference on how many snaps Boo gets on offense, is that Heupel knows he has that in his back pocket, knowing Colton Hood could be out there doing his thing. So I'm excited to do our predictions here in a little bit, in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I think a lot of picks are going to shock some people because, again, I think this team is going so under the radar. It's crazy. Same thing with the Sooners. A lot of teams that you think would be up there aren't. So it's going to be interesting. Going to be exciting couple weeks because fall camp starts in what? A week? 2 weeks?
Week and a half, 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, so we're close. We're close. Pretty soon we'll be drinking our twisted teas inside Neyland Stadium. So
twisted teas, come on, you gotta go for the Coors or the Miller Lite, man.
Nah, dude, I can't. I hate the taste of beer, but
hey, I mean, whatever floats your boat, homeboy. Well, any more thoughts, buddy?
I'm ready. I'm ready for the season.
All right, we'll be talking about it. Go Vols.
Go Vols, baby.